Welcome to the recipe. I am your host, The Red Knight. Now, after watching this past Xbox showcase, I think that painted the picture clearly now that for anyone to compete with the output that Xbox is going to be having, it's going to be real difficult. And Xbox output goes beyond their platform. They're on other platforms. They have games that are exclusively on PC. So they're everywhere. They're on Samsung TVs. They're in the cloud. But they have, just a plethora of video games to release every single year now, it feels like, until who knows when. Basically, until an eternity. They're going to just have a consistent rollout of video games because they have so many studios. And not only that, they have so many classic, iconic IPs that's always going to pull at nostalgia. It's always going to pull at people just for the simple fact that they love that IP. And it's like, oh yeah, that IP is Xbox. Whether you're talking Warcraft, Call of Duty, Fable, the list goes on and on and on. The amount of games that we didn't even see at the show that we know exist, like Clockwork Revolution. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's games out there, the next Halo, the next Forza games. Like, there's so much out there that's still being cooked up on top of the stuff that we know that currently exists, that's scheduled for this year, next year, and beyond. It's just something that you got to look at and go, damn, if you're a console manufacturer, what do you do to compete with that? Everyone could look at Nintendo and go, well, Nintendo has their own plethora of IPs. Now, I brought up Astrobot the other day, and I said the thing that I mostly dislike about Astrobot is that it's a celebration of a goddamn bunch of dead games. Dead IP that Sony will never touch outside of doing little shit that they're doing in this very game. That's it. It won't ever go beyond that. Astrobot looks like a great game. I'm not knocking it, but that is a negative. Seeing Parappa and all the shit that it's like, yo, y'all not doing nothing with that ever. I don't expect another kills on another. Listen, the list goes on. You saw them cancel Factions. You saw them cancel Twisted Metal. You've heard of them cancel multiple projects and classic IP. Classic to their audience. And those IPs are super niche because their own IP wasn't making no noise during PlayStation 1, 2. And 3 is when it really kicked off. And you haven't seen the Uncharted game in 10 years. And it doesn't look like there's anyone in sight. So then I go, damn, what's the next move? Now, remember when everybody joked at Microsoft around 2020 for having that showcase that was filled with a lot of CGI trailers? Now, we've gotten a lot of those games this generation. A lot of those games now have showed up in gameplay form and are rolling out this year and next year and beyond. I got a real funny feeling. Sony about to rush a show with just logos. Barely any CGI trailers. They might cook up a few for certain announcements, but it's mostly gonna be just logos. And those logos are gonna work to get, studio backing and all of that, like, more development power and everything, so people know what those studios are doing. It's gonna be that. It's gonna be super early stages. So the people go, ooh, yeah, that's happening. It's like, bro, we looking at actual gameplay that people are literally not believing is gameplay. State of the case is gameplay and cinematics. No, there ain't no gameplay in there. Even the parts that they see that don't look like gameplay right there, characters aiming and shit on top of the car or whatever. Yeah, but nah, that ain't gameplay. Fable, oh, that can't be gameplay. This year, people still questioning it. Like, we got games like Expedition 33 that are releasing. Like, the next gen games are here. People must be confused because they've been sitting there playing a lot of PS4 games on their PS5. A lot of people on their Series X been playing a lot of Xbox One games on their Series X. That is the truth. But we're living in a post-Hellblade world, and people still questioning the fidelities that these consoles can achieve. Like, go look at what Hellblade looks like on a Series S, and you still questioning the next game from the developer of Forza Horizon 5, which is the best looking racing game bar none. That's wild to me. You know what I'm saying? That's absolutely wild to me. So I sit here and I go, look, they don't believe Gears of War. People who are in the know, including the damn trailer, says in-engine. Say it's just that, in-engine. Those are the character models. Those are the textures. Remember when they didn't believe Hellblade? And now we all played Hellblade. And we zoomed in photo mode on the eyeball and was like, oh shit, what they said was really real. It's really true. It really looked that crazy. And yet they still want to question this. Look, I get it, man. I get it. But understand, a lot of these games that we're seeing now, some of them are going to be playing on the next console, like Gears. E-Day is probably going to play on the next console. Coming out in, the 20-year anniversary of Gears of War. That don't mean that shit still won't play on the Xbox One because the cloud exists. That's the beauty of Xbox, This is what Phil was talking about when he said there's more people playing Xbox right now than ever before. I'm like, yeah, Xbox clearly is bigger right now than ever before. The body of work is only going to make them even bigger. So then you got the Xbox One people playing through the cloud. You're going to have Xbox Series. It's probably going to be natively still on the Series X, S, or through the cloud. Either way, like, you know what I'm saying? So these games are still going to play like, and I just laugh because people still questioning everything. And I bring all this up because they have so many different avenues to deliver their games, how they deliver their games. The fact that Call of Duty now, you don't got to go out and spend $100 to get the Vault Edition. You could just spend $30 to get the DLC and all that. Or you could just sit there, wait for the beta to come out if you're an Ultimate member because you already got the game and you already got access to the beta. You don't got to buy the Vault Edition or nothing. That's beautiful. You got some Xbox fans out here crying, oh, these games might go to places. I'm like, so what? You don't got to pay $80 for them. Who cares? You're going to own it on the console where when you buy it there, you also get it on PC. When they buy it there, they only get it there. There's a difference. But yeah, people want to act like there's not. Not only do you have access to rent the game day one through your service that has a ton of games. You're not just paying $20 for that. You're paying $20 for everything, for Indiana Jones, for Hellblade, for Halo Infinite, for the old Gears game, so you can get ready for the new Gears game. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is what you get it for Starfield, for Towerborn, for Fable, for, you just go down the list, man. There's so many games. Expedition 33, that shit is in Game Pass. It's crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's so many video games. So little time. But nah, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they have so many ways to get these games to people now. And they got so many games that people gonna want to play, gonna want to check out. While, I'm not worried about Nintendo at all. And I'm about to talk about Nintendo right now. But when it comes to PlayStation, yeah, I just feel it. I feel it's gonna be one of those shows with a lot of CG trailers, logos, promises, and all that. And listen, I'm not knocking them for doing it. I'm just wanted to say that I think they're gonna do that because when they do it, I just want you to understand the reason why they did it is because this is the most uncomfortable period right now in the history of PlayStation. Screw all the messing up that they've done personally, leading to this very moment where they ain't got much announced that's gonna really excite people. No. This is a scary moment. You might say, oh yeah, but they're getting Doom. I'm like, yeah, cool. And they're gonna get Call of Duty too. Cool. And all of that is going to just continue to fund more Xbox. So more people gonna just look and be like, why would I buy a game here? Why I buy it here? It's trapped here. And these guys don't even they don't have a quality track record with backwards compatibility and forward compatibility. There's always something shaky. While Xbox is like, yeah, you buy Gears here, you got it everywhere. You buy Doom here, you got it everywhere. You know what I'm saying? They do it even with third-party games. That's why I'd be like, yo, to me, I don't even understand going against what is best for you as a customer. It's weird as hell. But hey, nostalgia, man, is a hell of a drug. Man, I grew up playing here, so I'm gonna stick with it. $80 for every single game. That's why I'm playing like 4 games a year, but still. And one of those is Call of Duty, which you could just get again. All right, listen, let's leave it alone. Let's move on. This week marked 10 years since Metroid Prime 4 was announced, man. 10 years. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? I'm just playing. It's been 7 years, but damn it, it feels like 10. When I saw that it's been 7 years, I was like, yo, honestly, it feel like it's been like 10. It's been 7. 7 is a lot. From when they announced the game, and they were like, somebody in Japan was doing it. There was rumors that it was Bandai Namco, and then that got canceled. Then they restarted development, and here we are, 7 years later. Now, we're only a few days away from what's believed by many to be, including me, the swan song direct for the Nintendo Switch. This will be the last Nintendo Direct that focuses exclusively on the Nintendo Switch. I can see future directs that focus on the Super Nintendo Switch still mentioning the current Switch, but this is the last one before the next generation of Nintendo consoles is revealed. So That being said, a lot of people are going to make prediction videos and put Metroid Prime 4 in these videos. And this is where I come in and say, I'm going to go as far as to say, if you're doing that, it's hard for me to believe that you're truly a Metroid Prime fan. You know, I mean, I'm not going to say you aren't excited for it. You aren't a fan who probably played Metroid Dread. That was your first Metroid game, maybe, 2D game, and now you're waiting for that 3D one. It's always exciting going from 2D to 3D. It was with Mario, it was with Zelda, it was with Metroid. It was awesome back when they did it with Metroid Prime 1. Now, as somebody who purchased Metroid Prime 1 when it came out, and 2 when it came out, and 3 when they came out, not to brag, but also the trilogy, Steelbook Edition, baby, you already know. Listen, I'm saying all this to say that when I state what I'm going to state, it comes from a genuine fan. Someone who has had this game pre-ordered on Amazon for years and always sees it every single year switch to December of whatever year it is. Right now, if I look at that pre-order, it says December 2024. But we all know that's probably not true. I'm really hoping it's not true. The same way I'm hoping, and here it comes, that we don't see Metroid Prime 4 in this direct coming up. Because I don't want to see Metroid Prime 4 on the current Nintendo Switch. We've waited 7 years for this game. Imagine waiting 7 years for this game, only for it to launch and be old the day it launches. Now, it'll be a new game, but it'll be old by association. Because by the time that game launches, whenever this year, it'll probably launch right around the announcement of the next Nintendo hardware, making whatever's dropping on Switch feel irrelevant and old. Whether it's forward compatible, it don't matter. It really doesn't. Because if the new Super Nintendo Switch is backwards compatible, right? And even brings the game up forward compatible. It's been 7 years. So if it even spruces it up a bit on the new hardware, that's not what I want. That's not what I want after 7 years. When they restarted development, I figured you start in development in this generation, you're probably not going to see this generation. And I was like, you know what? I'm fine with that. Because the next one, it'll be a 4K console. Metroid Prime 4K. Oh, yeah, I would love that. You know what I would love? I would love 2 and 3 to be at this direct. Before, nah, I don't want that. So when I say you probably not a fan if you want this in this upcoming direct, it's because, I mean, I would even go as far as to look at a Splatoon fan and say, hey, how would you feel if this fall Splatoon 4 was dropping on the current Nintendo Switch? Hey, Mario fan, how would you feel if that 3D Mario game that you know is being made for the next console, we all know what's happening, what if there was just a 3D Mario game dropping this fall? Hey, and just go down the list. Mario Kart fans, after all this wait, you know what? They dropping Mario Kart the next entry, and it's dropping on Nintendo Switch. Why? Because of the install base, right? That's the excuse everybody will say. Oh, every game on the Switch has had an amazing install base. They've sold the best they've ever sold. I understand that. I understand the Breath of the Wild of it all, the Twilight Princess of it all, dropping on the last gen and on the current. That's way better than doing Skyward Sword and just sending out a game to die, because that's what happened. Majora's Mask, because that's what happened. You look at the sales of those 2 games, that's what happened. But the Twilight Princess formula worked twice. And I still don't even want that, but this is me now being super selfish. I just want the game to be from the ground up for the console, the thing that showcases what that hardware could do. You want to know why? Because the last Metroid Prime game did just that, and the other 2 did just that for the GameCube. Metroid Prime 3, Corruption, is a masterpiece still to this day. Untouched because of what it achieved. With that control scheme, the world design, all of it. I loved everything about that game. And it existed the way it existed. It was because it was on new hardware. I want the same for this brand new game. Retro Studios hasn't made a game. The last game they made was 2014 Tropical Freeze. This is why I'm so hyped for Nico DeRico. 10 years. Yeah, I'm ready for them to wow me on something better than the Switch. Why would I want Metroid Prime to launch and immediately be old and irrelevant to so many customers? I get install base. I get it. But it being a Switch game, nah, it just don't feel right. It's okay that Dread was the only main new entry in the series. We also got Prime, and hopefully we can get 2 and 3, right? There's still time before we get to the next console. So I would love to have 2 and 3 in the quality of Metroid Prime 1 remake. That'll be great. I'm all for that. But seeing Metroid Prime as a Switch game is going to just rub me the wrong way. As excited I'll be happy that that pre-order will finally become a reality and it'll be shipped to me and I'll be able to play that game after all these years. But there's always going to be that sour spot. It's like, yo, we waited this long. And we got a 1080p, if that, Metroid Prime. And look, Metroid Prime looked beautiful. And I loved playing it. The remaster is the best version of the game. It looked absolutely stunning. But we in the 4K world, and we've been in one for so long. For so long. And now you got some goofies out here talking about 8K. I'm like, listen. I ain't even upgrade most of my movies yet to 4K. Now you want to talk to me about 8K? You got to relax. With games, I get it. If we get there, cool. You know, in 2026 or something like that, 27 and beyond, fine. But I'm just looking for that 4K goodness, that HDR goodness on my Nintendo software. And what better games to show off new Nintendo hardware than 3D Mario, Metroid Prime 4. You know, maybe a little tease to what the next Zelda could be like. Even if it's a 2D one, I will love it. You know what I'm saying? Like Mario Kart, Smash. Who knows? Like, but Metroid Prime being there is so good for Metroid. And I want Metroid to be part of that super, that next thing. I don't want it to be tied to this. I like that the legacy of its development started here. But I don't need a drop on this when we're moving on already. I hate seeing games launch at the end of a console life cycle, especially when it's usually going to be just tied to that console. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just something that, as we get to this direct, I'm not really anticipating that because it's the end of the Switch. You know? I'm not really anticipating anything crazy other than what I said in my predictions, which you could check out on, you know, the NX podcast and everything previous, like 3 episodes ago, 4 episodes. It's been a lot of episodes. But yeah, you can find it on Patreon, whatever. The point is that I'm not going into this expecting a bunch of new stuff. Now I'm going in this now with fear as a Metroid Prime fan. Like, I really don't want this shit on this console. And that's a crazy way. Listen, man, I know. This is such a me problem. But I'm just saying, this is just the way I feel. And I know a lot of y'all feel the same way. A lot of y'all feel the same way. Don't nobody want to play new entries and nothing right now on this current Switch. We ready for the next thing. I think if you're a Nintendo fan, you're definitely ready for the next thing. And you will also, at the end of the day, feel some type of way. Like, damn, imagine if Prime 4 was made for that. Instantly when they show it. If it's not, you know, being FPS boosted and auto HDR like Xbox One games to Series X. If they ain't doing none of that, you're just going to be like, damn. Even if they do it's launching day one and it's going to be on both, you're still going to be like, man. You know? I mean, I know I am. That's just something, it's just, I want it to be something that takes advantage of the console. When I bring up Prime 3, understand, this is not just about graphics. This is about it being a poster boy for the next console. The Wii Remote was a Wii Remote, and that's what Nintendo was going to ship that shit with. And it was Retro Studios who was like, wait, look what we did here with Prime 2. Check this demo out. You should have one of these. You know, and it was a nunchuck. And it was like, yeah, it makes sense. Imagine Galaxy without, you crazy, they was going to have you moving around probably with the D-pad, pointing. It was, wow. Thank God for Retro Studios. And listen, I love Retro Studios. It's been 10 years, but ever since they touched, you know, the hand of God, touched Mario Kart, it's just been nothing but fire. Nothing but fire. So I just want to see Retro do their thing. New hardware. It's the comeback story, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just want it to be the best it can be, and I feel like the best it can be is that. Is being one of the things that catapults the next console to continue the success of this current console and continue the trend of every new entry in Nintendo IP doing better and better and better. It's cool. You know? It's cool. So, yeah. That's my thoughts. I hope. Listen, man. When I throw out the, you probably not a fan, I'm just, you know, exaggerating. But still, let me know what you feel. Let me know what you genuinely think. Do you not care? You like, man, I just want Metroid Prime 4 no matter how I get it? Or do you want it to be something that really shows off what the next hardware could do, especially if it has a new creative gimmick? You know what I'm saying? Like, I think Retro has proven time and time again that they good with that. From what they did with the Donkey Kong games to the Metroid games. Yeah, so that's it. So I want to thank all of my patrons because this content would not be happening without y'all. Shout out to each and every one of y'all. If you're watching this, on YouTube or after the fact, make sure, you hit that thumbs up button, subscribe if you haven't. And yeah, I'll see y'all on the next one. Peace.